everybody, welcome to the channel. On this video, we're going to congratulate some of the season champions for this year, and we're going to go over some of the rules that have changed or will be changing with high limit racing in 2025. Everyone, as I said, we're going to do some congratulations on the 2025 series champions. And since this is an educational channel, I was going over some of the rules and I was discussing with a coworker and they had some questions. So like I said, since this is an educational channel with a little bit of entertainment thrown in there, I figured I'd go over these rule changes for the 2025 High Limit Racing Series. So let's get into this. So first, let's go ahead and give a shout out to those series champions. We're going to start with the dirt, which is, that's my home. That's where I'm most familiar. So shout out to David Gravel for clinching this year's World of Outlaws season championship. Moving over to High Limit Racing Series, let's throw a shout out to Brad Sweet for winning the first series, or the first season in the High Limit Racing Series. That just goes to show Brad Sweet and his team, they can go to any series, any track, anytime, and find themselves in victory lane. They're always a contender, which brings for good racing. So both of those series I highly recommend you go out and check them out. Now, World of Outlaws, I was kind of disappointed when I seen their 2025 schedule because they are not really coming to Missouri, with the exception of I-55 Speedway. Now, normally I like to see them hit up Lake Ozark Speedway or 36 Raceway out there in Cameron, and a couple others, but normally you can always count on them going to I-55 in the spring and I-55 again in August, normally right before the Knoxville Nationals. So, speaking of that, I think High Limit will fill some of the gaps, and I know they're going to be out in Wheatland, I-70, along with the Power I 410 Outlaw Series, which is a pretty stellar series if you all haven't gotten a chance to go out and see that. That being said, with that one, I want to take a moment to shout out to Ayrton Jeniton and his crew for winning the season championship with the Power I 410 Outlaw Series. So congrats to them. We're going to take the wing off, and we're going to throw a congrats out to Samuel Wagner for winning the wingless Auto Racing Series, the War Series with the Power I, season champion with the wingless sprints. So we have Tucker Cox in the Power I late models, Ted Welshmeyer in the Power I Super Stocks. Derek Watson is going to wrap up the season championship with the Power I B mods. So congratulations to all those guys in their season championships. It's been a long road, full of highs and lows for those guys. I mean, they travel all around, pull those race cars and haulers to different tracks, different states. So, congratulations to them all. Now, we can't leave out our brothers and sisters at the drag strip because, I mean, that's some pretty good action over there, too. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and shout out to them. So, congratulations to Antron Brown for winning the Top Fuel Dragster Championship points. Jack Beckman, shout out to him. He is your 2024 Funny Car in the Top Fuel, I should say he's the Top Fuel Funny Car champion for NHRA's 2024 season. You're going to have a Greg Anderson wrapping up the Pro Stock Championship. And let's not forget, least but surely not last, is the Top Alcohol Series. So, or the Top Alcohol Cars. So you're going to have a Sean Cowie, which is the Top Alcohol Dragster champion. And I'm hoping I pronounce this name right. Some of the PA systems, when I've been at these Top Alcohol shows, you kind of catch the names and you kind of don't. You recognize the cars more than anything. But a big shout out to Sean Bellamure, which is the Top Alcohol Funny Car champion. So, if you ever get a chance to see those Top Alcohol cars, they're pretty cool. Everybody, knows about the Top Fuel cars, But top alcohol dragsters, top alcohol funny cars, those are pretty awesome as well. I mean, you're still going to need your ear protection. You're still going to get the rumble on your chest, and they go down the track incredibly fast. So if you ever get a chance to watch some of the other divisions in the NHRA drag series, go ahead and go out and check them out. They're well worth it. Like I said, I got to check out Division 3 this year, and it was a pretty cool experience. Definitely, I love the top alcohol funny cars and dragsters. Okay, so as I was saying, this is an educational channel as well as entertainment. So while going over some of the rule package or the rule setup for high limit racing, I was discussing a few things with a coworker, and they kind of had some questions. So I thought if any of the viewers would have some questions about this or keep up with high limit racing and wonder exactly what this entails or why they would do this, well, I will try to break it down the best I can. So first, let's talk about what's called a wicker bill. So normally you have a 1-inch and a 2-inch, and these are, so I have a little sprint car here, and what a wicker bill is it's a little piece of aluminum. If you ever get up close to a sprint car, you might see them. They are a piece of aluminum that goes on the back of the nose wing and the very back of the top wing. Now what this is it's just an L-shape. It's just an L-shaped piece of aluminum that gets bolted on. It's really not even bolted. Most of the time it's just in there with like screw Zeus fasteners. They're real easy to change. They can go from 1 to 2. Well, High Limit has allowed, or is going to allow, a 1.5. Now, on the front wings, it's still going to be a 2-inch wicker bill, which means it's 2-inch from the base to the top. Now they're going to allow a 1.5-inch wicker bill on the top wing. Now, like I said, the front wing has to remain 2 inches, but that apply. You wouldn't think something that would be that minuscule on the back of the wing would have an effect on downforce that much, but it really does, especially when the track starts slicking off and you really need that extra traction from downforce on the car. That little piece of aluminum really does contribute to that downforce. So it's going to be interesting to see the cars and how they maneuver, how the drivers kind of deal with this new change, especially because each track is different. So this year's going to kind of be a learning curve. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see how that changes and how that affects the cars. So like I said, they're going to a 1.5-inch wicker bill on the rear wing. Front wing's still got to be 2 inches. So the next thing they did was they are allowing for one adjustable shock in the car. So what this means is, I mean, all shocks are, you can adjust them, but they're allowing the shocks to be, it's a setup to where it's an in-cockpit adjustment. So the driver can actually turn a knob and adjust the shock stiffness throughout the race. So if they need more pressure on one side of the car to get it to bite better, they can actually adjust this. Now normally it will go on either the left, it would either go on the left rear or the right rear. One of those shocks. It can only be one though. So they're allowed one adjustable shock for the in-cockpit adjustment knob. Now, if you've ever been around the midgets, any of the midget series, a lot of those cars, they have multiple. They can adjust different shocks. And like I said, the driver can do this throughout the race. Used to, the only thing the driver could adjust was the wing. If you've ever been around sprint cars, you notice they've got a little hydraulic pump. It runs off the power steering, the little power steering gear down there. And it can go forward or backwards and change the dynamic of the car with downforce on the rear end. Now, you can have two elements of adjustments while you're in the car, and that is the wing adjustment, and now this one shock adjustment that you can turn while the race is going on. So that'll be new for 2025. It'll be a learning curve as well. So what else? So another thing that I find interesting is they're allowing tire inflation devices. So basically what these devices do is so in race cars, the tires have bleeder valves. And what these do is they bleed off air as the race goes along. So when you put a certain amount of pounds of pressure in the race car tires, as they start going around the racetrack, obviously they're drifting and that's creating heat by the friction. Well, when you heat the tire, obviously the air pressure in there expands and it will blow the tire up a little bit. So they have these bleeders that will actually just bleed off a little bit of air as those air molecules expand. And the tire gets, hotter and hotter, well, they bleed off a little bit of that air. Now, to keep it at a constant pressure. Now, the problem is if, let's say, there's a red flag and they've got to stop, or they've done multiple laps under yellow, under caution, that air pressure can go back down. Well, there's no way to get it back in the car until they get back up to speed, and that may take a few laps. So your car, when you stopped, it's feeling like one thing, and then when they're going again, it's feeling like another until it gets back to that. So what this does is it allows for air to be brought back in the tire to keep that constant pressure. So it used to not be allowed. Now High Limit Racing is going to allow it for the 2025 season. So it is going to be interesting how these things change the dynamics of the race car in some of these races. So, go ahead, keep your eye out, and go ahead and follow the seasons. If you've got favorite tracks that you like to go to or like to watch, it's going to be interesting to see how the cars handle this year versus last year. So, if there's anything that you guys think I missed, leave it down in the comments. Or if there's anything you want to add, go ahead and comment. And that way we can share it and discuss this with the rest of the racing community. Keep it respectful, obviously. And if you, found some value in this video, go ahead and give it a like. And, hey, like I said, it's the experience that matters. So make sure you go out and have a good one. Thanks for watching.